Welcome back to a new video. You may be wondering where I am and why it's so echoey in here, and this is my former guest room. It's now an additional facility to train in. Now what I don't know, with the camera that I have, I put a wide lens on it, so you're able to see a wider length. I have it in a closet right now, pointing out. That's why on the side you can see a little bit of the closet. So I'm hoping that this works, but not doing a heavy session today. I'm not doing much of anything today. I'm going to do some snatch pulls, maybe some overhead press, and then muscle. I guess I'll start with muscle snatches. Muscle snatches, overhead press, and then some snatch pulls. And maybe the snatch pulls will be a little bit heavier, but I have pound plates in here. So these are the OG ones I originally had out in the shed, and they work fine. They're not as nice as the urethane, so they're dusty and rusty because they've just been sitting out in the shed, but now I have them in here. As far as the facility in here, obviously I have the platform. I don't have a squat rack or any sort of blocks to put anything on. I could bring the blocks in from outside if I really wanted to. I don't envision myself like going crazy hard in here ever as far as like a snatch and clean jerk goes. Unless like it was 0 degrees and the gym was closed and I couldn't go there to train. What I kind of envision this space for is for sessions like this that are lighter. So kind of perfect for, a talking video. I know it's a little echoey. Maybe that's something I'll be able to fix eventually, or not. Maybe it'll just be echoey in here. But what will also be nice for is if I want to do squats and pulls, because I have all the weights that I would need for that. It's just going to be in pounds. I didn't bring in all the change plates, but I don't really need them that much today. So not really much else to talk about. I mean, the platform is really flat and nice, so it makes me want to fix the one outside a little bit because there's a little bit of a dip on the one side and the middle is kind of worked up. I do have a piece of wood like this that I can put outside. What I kind of envision, and probably won't do it this summer, but maybe next summer, that I'll pull the whole platform up, fix the cement again, and drop it down to see if that levels it out, and then potentially fix layers with that. It's not really a severe difference. It doesn't really impact my lifting, but when you compare it to like a platform that's, brand new and perfectly flat, you do notice a little bit of a difference, at least when the bar is sitting on the ground. But if anything, it just kind of settles in one spot when I'm outside, so it's not really too big of a deal. At some point, I'll probably get a rack, independent rack to have out here, just so I have some ability to squat. And I kind of have a decent amount of spot. I can't really see the plates over here. It's kind of blocked by the wall. But all the plates are along the platform on the outside. Then I have some that are under the camera, so I don't really have a good setup for that. But I don't know. I probably won't do many of these videos in here during the summer, but I could see this being something I utilize a lot more in the winter for lighter sessions, so I don't have to go out into the shed. And in the winter, I could potentially bring my squat racks in, but those things are really heavy. So I might get something that's a little bit cheaper and lighter. But I can hold the bar above my head. I can even have a plate on there. So in theory, I could do jerks and presses and everything that I would want to do in here. I just don't want to be missing lifts and throwing them forward or really dropping a lot of weights. I didn't bring my crash pads in because I knew I wasn't going to be lifting super heavy today. So I'll be setting everything down nicely. But once I took the fan out from in here, I realized that my roof is actually tall enough to use for weightlifting. And even if it wasn't, I could still squat and pull in here, and I guess do cleans. Probably even do snatches even with a lower roof or ceiling. But I don't have to worry about that. Thankfully, I'm not 6'2", like my dad, 6'2.5", because then I probably would be hitting the ceiling. One benefit of being a short guy is you never have to worry about the ceiling. Not that I'm 5'11", so I'm not really short, but if you are even shorter than me, then you really don't have to worry about it. Brought back the OG I feel like I had this outside before I had the other bucket for chalk, but we got chalk, all the good stuff, and yeah, it's really hot in my house right now. I don't really want to turn the air on yet because obviously it'll make noise and make the audio even worse than it probably already is now. But yeah, so we're gonna do some muscle snatches. Got my straps out. I feel like we'll use them for these just so I can set the weight down a little bit easier. But don't have any specific weight that I'm gonna get up to today. Just gonna go up. I mean, this is, I guess, well, I mean, it's 95 pounds. I'm American, we can speak in pounds a little bit. Well, my legs are quite sore from yesterday. And I'm very tired from yesterday, training-wise. Also didn't really sleep well last night. Stayed up way too late and woke up super early, which is what you'd call a bad combination. So I ended up kind of napping through a lot during the day. So I'm kind of caught up on sleep, relatively speaking. But yeah, I haven't done I could probably figure out a way to set my phone up to go live as well, but I didn't really feel like it, and I haven't done a talking video in a while, so I figured that would be good. Good one to do for today. But man, I kind of just want to sit and squat and not stand up. But go ahead and do that. So what I've realized too is when I'm warming up, if I'm really not wanting to squat down because my legs are sore, it's okay to do some old-fashioned stiff-legged, I guess, muscle snatch. I should have put more chalk on. And then kind of work your way down. So I'm not really like in pain, but not ready to drive off the ground quite yet. Definitely need more chalk. Will also be good in here is, I mean, obviously like muscles actually like this, but if I want to do pressing or mobility work, and I'm actually not sure if it's short enough to do jump roping, but in theory, I could do some light plyometrics in here. Obviously, I can't really jump on boxes or anything like that, but I can do just about anything. And that was kind of the motivation to create this was I don't have anything else better to do with my money apparently, but it's not really that expensive to make a platform. I think everything all together was about $400, maybe more, maybe less. But the piece of rubber are actually cheaper than the last time because I got them in a different size that was cheaper. The same thickness as, they're same rubber mats as I have outside. I guess the plates and stuff I already had. And this is my friend's illegal bar. So I have a nice bar to use until he needs it back if he ever does. But if he doesn't, then I have a bar, you know, to always be in the house. I got 2 bars that are chilling out in the shed that were kind of rusted out. That would be actually perfect to have in here just because I don't need a nice bar in here, so I'm not doing the extreme lifting that I would do outside. But I don't know. I actually don't feel as bad as I thought. I thought it'd take a lot more to get myself warmed up, but I guess being hydrated on a more consistent basis has been helping. Plus my house is quite hot right now, so I guess I'm getting warmed up pretty quick. Another benefit of being in here is there's no bugs, at least compared to what's outside. Usually can't wear my glasses when I train. They're sliding around a little bit, but it's alright. I don't really care if these walls get messed up, because it is my house. But I ideally wouldn't have a bunch of holes in my wall, like my name's Kyle. But I don't know. Like, I feel like if I ever wanted to come in, come out in or walk into the living room and do some like SOTS presses or just have almost like a platform just to stretch on, it would be nice for that. So I do like having this, and push comes to shove, I could take this all out and take it out to the shed. That's kind of, I suppose, the long-term prognosis of this space is that it's all replacement parts for what I have outside. Obviously, I have the extra piece of wood, which I didn't really plan on doing anything with. I just got it because it was going to be one delivery fee anyway from Home Depot. My car's not big enough to fit this wood in, so I'd have to rent a truck. And when you account for the renting of the truck, the time that it would take to go and put the wood in, take it out, return the truck, all of that, it's kind of worth the difference of just having them pay for the delivery. But I figured since I was already getting wood, I'd get an extra piece just to have. I don't envision this wood getting messed up because I did trim down the sides. The length, I had to make just a little bit shorter, just so it was longer than the plywood a little bit. So now it's a decent enough length, and the rubber mats are, I feel like it's at a good spot. This side of the rubber mat's a little bit longer width-wise than this side, but the plates are landing at the same, the wood is at a fine spot, and I'm not too close to either one of them. I'm actually quite far from both of the walls, which is nice. If you hear gunshots outside, it's just fireworks, hopefully. Even if they weren't, I would just say that they were, so I wouldn't know the difference really. So this is 115 pounds, so at 54 kilos or something. I don't know how Clarence keeps his glasses on while he's training. Guess my face is just too sweaty. I'm gonna grab a towel so I can wipe sweat off my face. One benefit is walk in my bedroom, grab a towel, and I'm good to go. Weight doesn't actually feel too bad. I definitely have more of these 10s, the little 10s, elsewhere, but I have a lot of different ways to configure the weights. We go up to 135. $61 kilos. All my years lifting with pounds, I'm pretty good at the random kilos that these weights end up making. I just posted my first book review, the book I just finished. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm never gonna make I always think of I could edit this and spend more time doing that, but that's just not how I am. I'm not gonna put all that effort in to a video and have it. I want to say if I put all the effort into a video and edit it really crazily, then I'd want a better result, and then when I did it, I'd be like, what's the point if I get 20 views on a video versus 22 views. Like, I just do this for fun, and that's what it really comes down to. It's not that important in the scheme of things, whether the channel explodes or grows or whatever, but it's nice to be consistent and have an effort towards something. I'm not just haphazardly uploading random lifting clips. Like, there's, at least what I hope, is there's some coherence to not necessarily the topics I talk about, but just to the general journey of me trying to get stronger and better at weightlifting. And as the years have gone on, a little bit even less about just trying to improve lifting, like with the reading thing, like trying to improve life in general. So even outside of the fitness realm, the cardio thing, like just trying to be a healthier person. So, I mean, I won't be lifting forever. I imagine, unless I had some reason not to, that I would keep posting videos, because I'm so used to it at this point that I don't mind it. Maybe we gotta lose the glasses. Towel's not helping. But, still have a decent amount of stuff that I want to accomplish this summer. I was spending a decent amount of the day today painting some of the cabinets in my kitchen because they just needed repainted. In theory, that'd be something I'd want to do in the whole house, but I probably won't get around to doing that just because I had to move all the furniture out. I did try to do some painting in here, and I mean, it definitely looks better than it did, but I'd have to really like go crazy with it to like make it really nice. But again, when you live by yourself, it's not that big of a deal what your house looks like. I just don't want to look like a slob. But I suppose like bigger home projects that I would like to get done is getting my laundry room really deep clean, because I have just a lot of junk in there that I eventually need to just go through and get rid of, and finish doing the shed, or not the shed, the back porch, because I did a good job of cleaning out the shed. I have it's more open now, so I have a lot more space to sit down, and I have stuff, utilize the shelves more. Now with these plates in here, I could potentially put more stuff on the shelves, but I would like my back patio to be a lot more organized. It's not really that messy, but I had no reason for it not to be organized, so I would like to get that situated in a way that's better. There's some stuff from my roommates. There's one like a slow cooker that they need to come and get, and a charcoal grill, which I think is theirs. If it's mine, I'll throw out because I never grill out. I'm terrible about that. But once that stuff's out, and they have like an old bike too, then I'll have more space there to just have that organized, have my lawnmowers and all of that stuff situated in a nice way. But I suppose I could keep trying to throw stuff out from there. When I do trash on the weekends, I should really do that every week, fill up the trash cans, just because I don't want to be too egregious with all the stuff I put out. But I still, for how unproductive I typically am with stuff like that in the summer, I've definitely done a really good job so far, so I'm happy with myself with that. Even if I didn't do anything more the rest of the summer, I've done a lot more than what I typically do. I get lazy, and I think that's easy to do when you're kind of not really needing to be in a strict routine. I always will lift and train and stuff, but like doing manual labor that's not pertinent. Like I'll mow the grass and all of that you kind of have to be up on. But like painting or cleaning, it's like, I can wait. Usually can wait a little bit. But I also got a new TV, which let me do the set. So this is 155, so 70 kilos. Second one was a lot better than the first one. First one was a little out in front, mostly at the top. But so I actually will just stay there for muscle snatches today and just do a couple sets. But the TV that I had previously, I think it was 10 years old. Very, very well could be older than that. It's one I had in college, and I just never replaced it. As I wasn't in college, I never really had streaming services. I used Netflix a little bit when I first moved down here, but I never really had a reason for the TV. And I'd watch YouTube on my phone mostly, or now I have my computer set up, so I'll watch them in there. But now with it's a Roku TV. I'm trying to get my other TV to work today, and it's just so old that it works technically, but it's just so slow that it's just like, why would I bother? But Roku works really well, so that, and it's bigger too. So I've noticed it's a significant upgrade, but I mean, if you wait 10 years to get a new TV, it's gonna hopefully be a little bit nicer. But so I'm excited with that. I had to get another TV stand to extend it because it's too wide for the little one that I have. So now it's just kind of set on the floor, like kind of a ghetto setup, but it's only for a day until I get the other TV stand, so I can actually extend it out and elevate it a little bit so it doesn't look so ghetto. But that part's exciting, so took part of that. Also just replaced the TV stand. Like I did stuff like that really fast in the summer, where I might do that even during the school year. I replaced the old TV stand, new couch, new coffee table, and so like improved the aesthetics of my living space a lot from stuff that's quite old, like the couch that I threw out. That's as old, or it's not quite as old as the TV because I have the TV in college. The couch is 9 years, or was, now it's destroyed. But I had that 2016 when I moved down here. My parents helped me furnish my apartment and then set me off into the world. So that couch is quite old. I have a recliner that I want to get rid of. It's just so cumbersome that I just probably won't. It's not broken or anything. I never sit in it. It just has like jackets and stuff on, but I suppose I'll probably keep it. Can't hurt to have it. But that, and also, well, I mentioned stationary bike, I think, in a couple of live streams, but having that's also really nice as well. So I have some sort of easy cardio where I'm not rowing, which I do like, but it's hard to really row aggressively because I end up just sliding around on the thing. I'm a little too big. Do another set. think it's good enough for those. So we'll take the 10 plates off and just do some overhead press. I'm not gonna do a ton of overhead press. Just do it with maybe 1 or 2 sets. We're actually gonna not use the straps for it. The left wrist has been giving me some issues. Not enough to mess up lifting, but it's made it so I can't hold a hook grip when I'm catching snatches. And I haven't been able to do cleans with straps, so it's kind of just, I don't have the hypermobility, or at least what would be hypermobility for what I normally have. So it's not like I can't lift, but just not as mobile as I would like, I suppose. But yeah, probably why probably why my body doesn't like catching lifts with a hook grip. A little crackly there, but nothing hurt too bad. So I think usually it's probably not going to be right on the 16th, but I think my next 3 classes, at least they say they're available. At least with this one, it was like a week or 2 after the availability date to where the class actually opened. But the class I have now has been really easy, so I should be able to get that done well in advance of the other one starting, which is really nice. I basically only have a couple more things to do with it, a couple more videos to make, which is just like you responding to a prompt or answering questions on a video. It's not really difficult. Not like even editing like they would be for this video. It's even less than that. But and like one little project thing, it's not really that difficult sounding. I forget the other 3 classes are. I haven't looked at them since I signed up for them, but also kind of decided as well of a financial difference. So I made a community post talking about wanting to get my house paid off early, and what I kind of knew it was true, but realized that for me, I need to invest because my interest rate on my house is so low that it doesn't make any sense not to pay as little as I can on the mortgage, like not pay additional, and then take all of that money that I would pay additional on the principal and just put it into ETFs and really save stocks. So I had been messing around with Robinhood for a while, and I always get like into option land, which is terrible. So I actually made a Webull account, which is just another platform to trade stocks on, and it's perfect because I don't know how to access margin on it, and I don't know, like I have a margin account technically, I don't know how to access margin, and I don't know how to trade options on it, and I'm not really I'm not trying to do it, so there's a lot of resistance into me pursuing that. But my goal with that is to take all of the extra principal that I was going to pay and just put that into ETFs each month, and just hope stocks, go up more than hopefully I can make more than 2.75%, holding like really normal ETFs, and then I have that money as well. Even if it makes $0, I have that money sitting, and I have the access to it. If you pay the interest of your mortgage, you pay less interest, which for me, it's even if I paid off my loan now, it's not saving me a ton of interest. Which is crazy, but my interest rate is super low. So I made that adjustment. So I started that this month, and really I can perpetually do that because my salary will go up this upcoming school year by quite a lot, because I'm going to have another year of teaching, but also my master's will be done. So I'll have that set, really kind of 2 salary upgrades from year 9 to year 10, and then the bachelor's to master's. And so I'll be able to work on that and keep plugging away. So at the end of this school year, I'm gonna do another set. I'm not gonna worry about it. Do another set of 5. By the end of this upcoming school year, I'll be at a master's plus 15, because I'll do a couple more graduate level courses, not working towards an additional master's or anything like that, just taking those courses. And then since you can only go one level or column a year, I won't be able to get to master's plus 30 till the end of next school year. So this next one will be 25, 26. So at the beginning of the 26, 27 school year, I'll be at master's plus 15 hours. So I'll get another bump up. Plus the year, I'll go down a row and up over a column. And then the year after that, I'll be at master's plus 30 in the 26, at the end of the 26, 27 school year. And as far as like getting more graduate or grad level classes or master stuff, I won't need to unless I want to pursue something. But then I'll just be perpetually maintaining my license for the rest of my teaching career, and so I'll be kind of maxed out. But I mean, I make good enough money now, and doing that will just kind of max out how much I can make and make my day job make me as much money as possible, which there's no reason not to. There is absolutely no reason not to. So the master's will be a big jump. I don't know what number wise I'll be up to next year, but I'll say this: my dad, who's going to be retired in I think a year, is very jealous of my salary. And if I had my salary at a school district, I'd be one of the most wealthy teachers in it. But it's more of a function of me being in Southwest Ohio and him being in a different part. All right, do one more set of 5 and then do some snatch pulls. Same about my sister's a teacher as well. I probably make more than her. Oh, my camera's still on. I panicked. I thought it was off. Oh, I'm rambling in my house without the camera on. But my sister is a year and a half older than me, but she's had kids and moved from a different state back to Ohio. So I doubt she has as many years as I do, since I just been straight through once I graduated. This will make 111 kilos. Their boots. But it is kind of funny, because she was always super ahead, and it's not really a fault of her own. She's had a much more interesting life than me in a lot of ways, but she was always super ahead. She graduated college early, like at least a year early, maybe even earlier. Was always like, had a job when she wasn't in school, or while she was in school, she was always working when she wasn't, in class and stuff. So she had a bunch of money saved up, but, and I wasn't necessarily irresponsible or anything, but I didn't, I worked as a camp counselor in the summer when, once I stopped playing baseball for 2 years, and then the Summer I graduated, I didn't have a job until I got my first teaching job, but that was my job, was going to interviews, which, life has a lot of ups and downs in it, but that summer, while I wasn't working and I was at a really cool gym, the one in Northeast Ohio that's now, I was at their old facility. You'd have to go really far back, but you'd be able to see clips of it. But I was at a really cool gym, really great environment, but like, I was in hell because like interviews for someone like me are stressful, and knowing that like as the summer goes on, it's like I need a job somewhere doing something so I can make money and live, and not just my parents thankfully would have probably supported me as long as I was not being a dirtbag and trying to get a job, pursuing it, not just being a lazy bum. But I wanted for myself to have a job, and like when you're teaching, you want to have a job obviously before the school year starts, so you kind of have that natural deadline. It's not like searching for a normal job where you can start it whenever. This is like, gotta be there at the beginning of the school year, ideally, unless I was going to sub or something for the first year, which I would have not enjoyed, I don't think. But took all the way to the end of summer. That summer was very stressful. So many interviews, so many, which now I don't think I'll ever have to sit. I mean, unless I wanted to transfer in the district, I don't think I'll ever leave this district. I don't have a reason to, and I don't want to. Okay. Like I said, this is 111, 245. I think I'm gonna do a heavy pull and then post it with zero context about this place, about what's going on. I have a bunch of 35-pound plates over there, but I'm gonna load up another red. I remember Titan sent us an extra 55-pound plate when we originally ordered these, so I guess I probably have a red one. It's probably still out in the shed somewhere. I don't really need to get it though. Maybe I don't though. But this will make, I don't know. I guess if you think in blues, then you convert it to pounds. So it'd be 160 if we're just counting by colors, but it's pounds, so it makes 355. Some pretty weird lifter math. But I mean, at what point when I'm lifting pounds would I have ever have 55-pound plates? That throws off the plate math. Makes math impassable. It's turned into a New Yorker. Jokes on you, I'm actually from New Island, or Long Island. From New Island. I'm actually from Long Island, but yeah, when I post a clip from this, it'll just be no context, just a random heavy deadlift in my house. But yesterday, I mean, a triple at 220 is not light, but it's also one that's like not heavy enough where I'm like, oh no, I can't pull the next day. It's pretty, let's say, I mean, it's like the equivalent of, I guess, like a 90, you get 85% squat. Definitely is like, you feel it, but I'm not nervous about it. So this is 355. 161. A little bit out in front, but I don't have to worry about it. I'm not snatching that weight anytime soon. Nice thing, this platform is really, I'm not worried, even if I dropped it from the top, I just don't want to be too loud. As I am significantly closer to the neighbors now than when I'm out in the shed. I don't want to be a bad neighbor. Maybe my next platform will be in the grass divide between our two houses. That'd be pretty toxic, to be honest. So this is now 445. I'll chalk up a little bit more. So then if we put a green on, makes 495. So that'd be what, about 225. Whew. But we'll do this one, then honestly probably just do 505. Try to get up to that. Try to look at the plates to do some maths. So I put a green on, makes 495. I guess I could, but I have 2.5s, so we'll do 515. So I ain't no wimp. So when I do this one, I want to still have that same dynamic pull, same dynamic start, but I want to make sure I'm keeping the bar close to my legs. Obviously, the further out that it is, the more difficult. I do like the wood on this material of this platform. It's very grippy. I think it's particle board. All right, we got one more in me. I guess I could put the yellow on. That would make exactly 505. Oh, that's probably the better choice. Whew. Main consistent part of my programming is just to be in control. There's really no reason for me to lift in here today. I guess I took advantage of today because I knew I wasn't going to do any sort of like weightlifting training. But I figured since I wasn't really going to be, say train hard, like I'm about to snatch deadlift 505, but wasn't going to try to do snatch and clean jerk or like heavy squats or anything. This is just because I happen to feel good. Wasn't even really thinking I'd pull that heavy, but I was bringing all the plates in here during the day, so I was like, this is a perfect day for it, you know, active still, and not something that's going to be like detrimental. Like I'm not if I miss this, it don't matter. So it's not an important day of lifting per se. And I guess kind of like, it's not necessarily the mindset that it's an unimportant day of training, but it's more so like if I miss this, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I was really hoping to like hit this weight today and be really disappointed. Just like, I mean, this is not really active recovery, but like the muscle snatches and the pressing, it's not enough to impact on the next day, but you still get to feel like you did something productive and it not destroy you the next day. I feel like since tomorrow I'm doing block work and I'm not squatting tomorrow, this might impact it a little bit, but probably not. So this is still 515. I just can't do math. So still 515. I should have gaslit myself and said it was 505, but no, it's still 515, which I don't know what that is in kilos. It's like 230 something. Okay. So this will be my last lift of the day. They might have Uno Cerveza. I did enjoy a couple of those yesterday, which not enough to make me like, obviously not enough to really mess up like training or make me feel bad or anything, just a couple. Plus I'm a big boy. All right. I do also have, if I ever were like doing a lot of snatches and cleans and jerks in here, I do have the crash pads that I can bring in because I don't ever use them outside. So I wouldn't ever want to do like, even if it was light weightlifting, a lot of stuff where I'm dropping in here. It's because, I mean, part of it, I trust the platform to protect the floor pretty well and the foundation, but I wouldn't trust the noise not to be obnoxious to the neighbors. So it's very loud and echoey in here, and I'm like 20 feet away from the next house, so I wouldn't want to be banging out a bunch of reps where I'm spiking off the ground for many reasons. That, and it's also, as you can tell from the sound in here, really echoey. So I dropped with just a green on in here one day, and it was like, that's pretty loud. So if I'm doing a session like today, I'll just lift light or lighten up in a way where I can, set it down without slamming it. Obviously, I'm not going to hurt myself to set it down nicely, but if you can, it's good to do when you're in a situation like this. But yeah, I got at least a 2.5 to help get these plates off. I did some yard work outside. That's something else I want to kind of do. There's a lot of like little projects, but I want to garden, and not so much like do gardening as far as like get new plants or do anything that looks nice, but just kind of weed the garden so it looks a little bit nicer. So this is where I should be smart and make sure I clean up the plates well so I don't grief myself the next time I want to come in here and train. I was like, I'll just put on the platform, but that would just be toxic to my future self. But 515, like I definitely felt hard. It's weird when I do snatch grip deadlifts. I can't really lock it out. Like it's in such a awkward spot on the male anatomy. But like I feel like when it becomes heavy, I can't like lock out my back the same way I do on a conventional deadlift. So it makes the lockout feel weird. But I think it just makes my shoulders roll down a little bit. So then it's just a little bit too low. Because my grip's the same as when I snatch. But obviously when you snatch, you keep your back straight and almost arch. There, even if I'm not really like rounded crazily, even if I'm like a little bit, that's enough to, that plus just sheer weight is enough to kind of pull my arms down a little bit and make it so instead of it being like in that hip crease, it's a little bit uncomfortable. But thankfully, I'm never, it's not a competition lift, so who really cares what it looks like? But obviously I like to have a high standard when I'm lifting as far as depth and range of motion and stuff. Ow, pinch my finger. It's always important to have a good range of motion. For this specific exercise that you're doing, it's just like if I was doing a squat, like you should want to have the full range of motion unless you have some sort of specific reason that you're working on a middle depth squat, maybe a jerk dip squat or something like that. But there's never really a good reason to cut your range of motion, because all it does is make you think you're stronger than you are. And your range of motion can be different if you're a power lifter or a weightlifter, but squatting deeper is almost always better because it's almost, I would say, safer because you can't do as much weight as when you do moderate depth or you go above parallel. Because you can't cheat the depth, you have to be honest with it, but you can't go up as heavy so you're not compromising other potential joints. You're not hurting your back, which would be probably the most common thing that you do with a really high squat if you're really overloading it too much, and probably stressing your knees out more than they need to be because the sheer load, the sheer force is at its greatest at or above parallel or right at that point, I believe. Could be wrong about that, but the sheer forces at the very bottom of a squat is very low because the joint is very compressed. Logically, if you think about it, if you're sitting all the way at the bottom of a squat, like, your knee can't go anywhere, so there's not a lot of, like, you're not going to rip your ACL or, you're not going to have a ligament issue in the bottom of a squat if you're sitting, like, on your calves. Like, your knee can't go anywhere. But as you get up, you think where most people get stuck on a lift, that's where the sheer force of your whole leg is at its greatest. So logically, to me, that makes sense. But the research I remember reading in college, actually, like immediately when I read this, I was like, oh, you can squat all the way down. It's not a problem. I always had the mobility to squat all the way down. I was doing powerlifting, so I didn't really want to, but I thought maybe it was not good for your knees. And I remember reading a research paper where they measured the shear force of a full Olympic squat versus just squats at different depth. And I think they had one that was a parallel and one that was a full depth squat. And they said the shear force is the same in both ranges or both lifts. There's no statistical significant difference, and there is in statistically insignificant difference. So they said if there was any difference, it was on the side of a full depth, like a Olympic weightlifting type squat, because the amount of weight that you could do was less because the range of motion was greater. But it wasn't statistically significant. So it's not as if, you know, a powerlifter squat is inherently more dangerous for your knees than an Olympic weightlifter squat. But there was like a slight, if any, where I think was interesting when that was pointed out, it was like, if anything, it leans towards the Olympic squat being a little bit better for your joints than a parallel squat, which logically that makes sense, because for any other range of motion that you work through, if you do a full range of motion, you know, if you ask anyone, like, should I do a bicep curl like this, or should I go all the way up? Like, yeah, you should do a full range of motion. And then you're like, squat, like, oh, your whole body's gonna explode. No, it's just difficult. And that's what people don't like with full depth squats, is that it's hard. It's hard to go all the way down because it's a mobility movement, and it's hard to come all the way back up. It's the same with a snatch and a clean and a jerk. It's really fun to do, but it's really hard to do. And when it's really difficult to do, you know, that's why you see all the, I don't even know really what to call them, but the strength coaches that are like, oh, you can't teach people cleans and snatches, it's too dangerous, and as if teaching athletes is so difficult. You know, they can't learn to do a snatch or a power clean or a, you know, any derivative of the movement. Or like, it's not necessary, it's a waste of time. It's like, if you ever coach someone that's like really coordinated, and I'm not an example of that, but I remember one guy I coached, I think I've mentioned him before, it's a pitcher, he still throws, and he hasn't been signed by like a minor league team, but he's like kind of on that cusp. If he was 3 or 4 years younger and at the current level that he's at, I think he would be like draftable, because I think he threw 95, he said, is his current best. But like, not just good at baseball, a generally athletic person. Still remember the first time I was telling him to squat, I was like, you know, just keep your back tight. You know, I try, when you're coaching someone at first, you know, teaching them, you want to allow them to just do the movement and then kind of work backwards. You don't want to give them too many things to think about. But like, I was like, all right, you know, keep it, you know, get them set up pretty well. Keep your back tight, just go all the way down, all the way back up. And he literally, his first squat was like, did like 3 reps. It was like perfect, better technique than I even have. And I was just like, and he's taller, he's like 6'4", 6'5", and long too. And I was like, all right, it's like, that's what elite athletic ability looks like. This literally is like, that's great. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's just insane. I was like, and like, when you added weight, it was exactly the same his technique didn't break down. And it was just like the kind of the genius of the motor skill learning that was evident with him was just, it was shocking, but at the same time, it wasn't, because I knew he was a really good athlete in general, and he had been getting stronger and throwing better and stuff like that. So I knew like he was clearly athletic. But like, seeing that, I was like, oh, like, there's people levels above even where he's at that are, you know, NFL athletes and track stars. You're like, I can't imagine those guys are worse at learning a ballistic movement than this guy was. And I'm pretty sure he even tried to do some cleans and stuff, and they looked like, I didn't even teach him that because he was really new to lifting, because he was still in high school. And so we just focused on like the squatting, pulling, and pressing, really basic movements. But I feel like at some point I saw him doing some cleans, and it's like, of course you could just do cleans, like you could just immediately learn them. It's funny because it's just like, he had that inherent ability to where you could coach him from like a motor skill aspect. And what I mean by that, if you're just like, get your hips a little bit lower, tighten your back, you know, you don't have to like give him like all these fancy cues. You're like, just bring your hips down a little bit, and then it's just like, boom, done. And it's just like, wow, that's really easy. And it's just like, it's funny because you see like a Division I strength coach like, no, why would I waste time teaching them to clean? It's like, because you have good athletes. Maybe your school has crappy athletes. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have a wealth of experience. Like, maybe most athletes at a high level are not coordinated enough to learn stuff. But I kind of have that bias that's at the higher level of athletic ability that you go, so at a lot of Division I or higher Division I schools, I feel like a lot of the athletes that you get are just coordinated. And exerting a force, I think, was Will Rattel, he always mentions like exerting a force on an external body and mass. Like he always has a good way of describing it. It's just like, why wouldn't you want an athlete that is just aggressively powerful? You can't tell me that you'd rather, if you want an athlete that can't do a clean at all, that can do a clean with 60 kilos, 100 kilos, 120 kilos, or 140 kilos, assuming that you're not spending 9 days, not 9 training sessions to get to that point, just have every athlete that just trained normally that got to one of those levels, which one would you rather have? Any good coach would be like, of course I want the guy with the 140 clean or power clean. You want that better athlete that can exert more force, because that's like, I can do a deadlift. Clearly I can do deadlifts, but exerting a force on a clean or a snatch is different because you're actively accelerating the bar, much like you would be in a sport where you're actively accelerating your human mass to move in some sort of way. And having that understanding, but also if you're coaching an athlete, they're going to strive, like if you have someone that's good at sport, or good at sports plural or sports singular, they probably were always kind of good at that sport or many sports, especially when you're at a high level. So they're going to have a higher understanding of just how to learn a motor skill, and they're going to inherently want to do that. It's like someone that's really good at math, like if they are gifted in that area, they like doing more math stuff. They'll continue to do it without you prompting them. They are really advanced in that. And I would say that a lot of high-level athletes, even at Division III, Division II, like anyone that's really played a sport their whole life, like they have some level of proficiency, they can learn skills, and learning that will give them something that's not just a squat, not just a pull. So they can learn that, and you get a lot out of it. It can be really fun to do that stuff, of course. But the active speed and aggression that you get from doing a snatch or a clean or a jerk is different. And I think it has a subjective quality to it that I don't really have the vocabulary or the, specific education to directly describe. But I feel like an athlete, because I was kind of in that boat, because I really liked pitching and liked all of the training around that to try to throw harder and try to throw farther. With weightlifting, I got that same feeling that I'm not just trying to get stronger, but I'm trying to get better as far as the movement quality that I'm doing. So I'm trying to improve multiple qualities at once. And when you're thinking about weightlifting, you're not just trying to get better at the snatch and the clean and jerk. You're not just trying to get faster and stronger. You're trying to maintain your mobility as you're doing it, so you're able to move into these deep range of motion, which I would argue probably a good thing for most athletes to be able to be mobile. And so to me, it's like when you see the coaches that are anti-weightlifting movements, it's weird to me because it's just like, it just means you don't understand how to do it yourself, which is fine. Not everyone knows how to do it or can do it efficiently, which I think is a much more honest response. If the coach is like, I'm not really good at it, I've never really been able to explain it to other people, get them good at it. So to me, like the effort of getting, having athletes do it is not worth it because the quality of their movement is never going to be good. I would get that, but if you have any sort of proficiency in the weightlifting movements, even if you're not, a USAW level 2 coach or whatever, it's not hard to teach really good athletes to do athletic movements. It's actually quite easy. I would say it's probably harder to hold them back, to get them to do less and not break themselves as far as like training too hard, than it is to like, we're going to do cleans today, and you're just going to do a power clean until you can't, then you're going to do a full clean, and you're going to catch all your reps perfect, and that's just how it's going to be. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions and people with mobility restrictions and stuff like that, but you take the average athlete, and I'm a pretty average athlete, I've gotten up to a pretty decent level in weightlifting and in strength in general. I'd say that I think I respond well to strength training specifically, but not to like getting faster and stronger necessarily, as proficiently more so than the average person. I think the only thing that I'm like truly like abnormal at is my pulling strength. But like all the other strength, I think is pretty within the realm of normal human development. Obviously, I'm really persistent, and there's subjective qualities or there's non-physical qualities that allow me to progress further than the average person that goes to the gym. But like athletes of almost any sport are going to be able to learn those movements. And there's obviously, like I said, exceptions. There's going to be a time and place where it's more beneficial or not. I've also theorized too, when I'm thinking of pitchers and baseball, like if I was a starting pitcher, I'd be like, man, if I threw a game, so if I threw, say, 100 pitches yesterday and training today, it's like I'd be able to train really hard because I know I'm not going to pitch for 3 or 4 more days after the current day that I'm training at. And so I have that really difficult day of pitching, or at least, tiring day. And then it's like really hard day, whether it's weightlifting or, squats and pulls and stuff. Then I have a couple days to do different stuff and recover from that. But I'm even thinking that like the day before a pitching bout, whether, if I was a starting pitcher, it'd be a little more difficult if you're a reliever. But I'm thinking more of a starting pitcher, because you're more on like a structured routine. But like if I could like the day before do some really light, almost not necessarily pulls like today, but if I did some really light power snatches, maybe some really light power cleans, and just focus on moving a moderate weight really aggressively, like probably make me better at pitching the next day. Like exerting as much force as I can on an external body of mass in a way that's not going to fry my CNS or destroy my joints. I feel like that'd be pretty good. Like I'd be hard pressed to say that I couldn't exert myself maximally from a pitching standpoint or even a hitting standpoint if I did some power cleans at 100 kilos the day before. Like I feel like that would be like almost really good in-season training. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into maintaining your body when you're in a long baseball season like that, but just kind of thinking through that, like if I were at that level, it's like I probably, in theory, if I had the knowledge I had now, like I'd be doing some, power snatches or some power cleans, and probably to the chagrin of baseball coaches, but like if you're doing them light enough, you're not really at risk of getting hurt. Obviously, I'm not going to max out a snatch the day before, I'm going to pitch, 100 pitches in a game or whatever, but just some thoughts. Kind of rambled all over the place, but haven't done one of these talking videos in a while, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. I'll try to clean it up and post as much as I can, but the echoey nature of this, even if I had the mic on, I don't think it would be helped that much just because it's empty in here as far as the walls and stuff. I suppose I could put foam all over all the walls and make it a little bit more dense and sound better, but that's a lot of work, and just to improve the sound quality when I'm not going to be training here very frequently. But if you've made it to this point, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.